I don't personally think I'm that funny. And the things that I do think are funny, most people go, it's not very funny. And I go, really? I think that's really funny.
Hello everyone, welcome to midday.com. I'm Supriya Nair here, and today with me is one of the world's biggest stand-up comedians, Russel Peters.
Fluffy's bigger.
Welcome to Midday.
Well, thank you for having me.
First of all, I want to congratulate you for being a real-life hero. I know you recently helped nab a thief at a jewelry store in New York.
Yes, that was fun.
Did you yell out, somebody's gonna get hurt real
No,
bad?
I did not, no. I was saying, I will break your arm in half, is what I said to the guy.
Really?
I will snap your arm in half if you move.
Oh man, that must have been crazy. I saw the video.
Yeah.
So did you use your jiu-jitsu?
I did use my jiu-jitsu. I used a wrist lock and an arm bar.
Oh wow.
And so I doubled them, so that way if he got out of the arm bar, I still had his wrist, or if he got out of the wrist lock, I still had his arm. And I felt really good doing it. It was like, wow, this really works. As soon as I locked the arm bar in, he goes, okay. Because you know, as soon as you know your arm is going to break, you go, oh my God, my arm's going to break.
It feels good to really use the boxing training.
It feels good to know that I can actually do things when the time is right.
Russel, I wanted to ask you about the Deported tour. How has the journey been so far?
It's a fun journey for me. It's always fun. You know, from coming up with the material. When did I start writing it? I started writing it in the fall of 2017. And then I started taking it on tour in February of 2018. And now here we are in 2019. And I'm about to record it here in Bombay.
So you've developed your specials by hosting comedy shows across clubs. So how do you know which jokes work well with larger audiences and which work well with, smaller groups?
When you're on tour, you're doing the big arenas, and then when I'm off, when I'm trying to figure things out, I go do clubs, and then I figure out what works well in those spaces. And you just know. I've been doing it 30 years. You know after a while when something's going to work or when it's not.
How do you prepare for your sets? Like, do you improvise a lot, or do you, kind of...
Well, if you're improvising, you're not preparing. So you prepare, and then you improvise. That's how I do it. I make sure I have my prepared stuff, and then I know where I can improvise in between. The problem is sometimes when I start improvising, I get carried away and go for way longer than I need to with the improvisation, which I enjoy doing and the audience enjoys, but it drives him crazy because we've got to be out of there by a certain time, and then the set will go from an hour and 15, an hour and 20 to an hour and 40, 2 hours, and people get tired.
So what is your style of developing comedy? Do you prepare meticulous notes when you're, doing sets, or, do you write as you talk?
I don't sit down and physically write. I've never been that kind of person. I don't have that kind of attention span where I could sit there and just pen everything. So I go on stage and I just start talking, and then I remember talking points as to what I liked about what I just said.
Are there any jokes that you don't really like doing, but because people really love it, you are forced to do it? Because
no, I don't do anything old, so it's always new stuff.
Always new stuff.
When I'm on tour, it's it's that set for that act, and then once it gets recorded, then I dump it and I start writing on new act.
Okay.
So if you like an old joke from an old show, you should go back and watch that somewhere else, because I won't remember how to do it even.
So you've toured India vastly as a comedian, but you're a DJ too, and when are you going to introduce India to your music?
I've been DJing for 34 years. Right. It's not like it's something new to me. And I always have my laptop with me now, and I got my DJ starting from scratch with me as well. So, we're always down to throw a party and DJ and get busy, but I don't play current music, and I don't think they will know the older music that I like, so I just leave it to the people that are doing it. I want to make the people happy, Right. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to do it for them. I'm kind of like an iPod that got full, and I have no more room. Okay. Unless it's really, really outstanding, then I can go, wow, I need to hear that again.
Okay.
But there's so much music nowadays, and so much of it sounds like the last song that you just heard from somebody else. It's all just copycat of one bad idea spawned a million bad ideas, and now people are so used to the sound of that bad idea that they think that's what it's supposed to sound like. People have forgotten what Hey, how about that guy who can't cough without sounding like he's vomiting?
Which is the first joke that you made that made you decide that this is something that you want to take up as a profession? What was that moment?
No, I remember writing my first joke when I was in 7th grade or 8th grade.
Wow.
7th or 8th grade, it was like 1983 or something like that.
Okay.
And I was 12 or 13, and I wrote, I can't say what it was because it's pretty offensive now, but back then it was really funny for a 12-year-old to think like this. And my friend at the time was like, yo, that's really funny. Did you come up with that? I was like, yeah. He goes, you should be a comedian. And then it's just something he said, but it always stuck in my head.
Wow.
And then, you know, cut to 1989, I started doing stand-up.
So, talking about, you know, jokes that are not really taken well. So, what did you think of Kevin Hart stepping down from the Oscars? Do you think that comedians should be criticized for the work or the jokes that they made in the past?
Hey, here's the problem: is if you're going to keep going in on everybody's past, you're negating what can happen in the future. You can let them know what they said back then was not acceptable, and if you notice a pattern of them continuously doing it, then yeah, they got a problem. But you'll notice Kevin Hart said something 10 years ago and never said anything like it ever again for the next 10 years.
Right.
And now you're saying we need change. Well, he did change. Right. And now you're still complaining about what he said 10 years ago. So do you really want change, or do you want to complain?
True, absolutely.
So you have to look at the pattern of what happened between that time.
I know you must have got this a lot, but which is your favorite joke?
Of mine or somebody else's?
Oh, yours.
I don't really think I have a favorite joke of mine. I don't personally think I'm that funny. And the things that I do think are funny, most people go, it's not very funny. And I go, really? I think that's really funny. But so when I think it's funny, to the general public or even my friends and family will go, that's not funny. And I'm like, but it's really funny to me. Why is it not funny to you?
And finally, can you tell us something about Supermoon?
I know they're my promoter and they're doing a damn good job.
Tell us something about the Deported tour.
I would just say, please come to the Deported tour or you miss out on everything.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Soups.
Thank you, Russ.
If you like this video, then do subscribe to our YouTube channel Midday India.